Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, June 27th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple of things. Number one, if you would like for me to do an analysis, then I'll do my best. Just leave that request down in the comment section. And then also, this candle right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then finally, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, FFIE. Big mover today, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched past videos, but you know that I've been talking about this one and how it's a cult stock, and cult stocks, they like to bounce, and when they do bounce, they can bounce very, very nicely. And talked about this, how yesterday, how it was starting to show some signs of upwards movement. Was this some sort of bottom? Was there some sort of bigger move coming? And sure enough, today, got the gap up and then absolutely rocked and rolled. So very good movement today, no doubt about that. So just get rid of those lines on there. And the key level now moving forward from a resistance standpoint, maybe you've already noticed it, but check out that pink line right there, the very famous 200 paired moving average. And when the price is down below it, it tends to act as resistance. I mean, check it out. Just time after time after time, the price got up right around that area of 48 cents, and then the momentum would just disappear. Now, that's not to say that the price can never, ever get up above and stay above 48 cents. I'm just saying it makes sense why the price is struggling at that area, and that moving forward, the price is really going to need to bring it to A game if it is going to be able to fight up through that level. And then in terms of areas of support, ideal level moving forward now is going to be staying above that purple line there, 50 period moving average valued at 36 cents. Reason for that is if the price were to come down here and then fall back below it, well, now all of a sudden you have the price essentially going right back to where it was, and that's not a good sign of strength. When you have movements that skyrocket and then go back to where they were, again, not what you want to see from the bullish standpoint, but all things considered, very impressive day today. Next one, RIVN. Nice mover today from the gap up standpoint. And then, yes, it did spend the day essentially pulling back. But this is where things get a little, you need a little bit more clarification, because I get it. If you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you were buying there or you were buying there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 20 minutes, well, then, yes, from that perspective, the chart looks pretty bad. Now, if you care about the bigger picture point of view, then, yeah, fair enough. You would say, yeah, the price did pull back today. With that being said, because you care about the bigger picture, you're going to say, yes, it did pull back today, but what was going on before today? And you would say, well, the price was down there, and then it skyrocketed all the way up there. And now what I've actually drawn is a bull flag pattern. So once again, to reiterate, I fully understand if you're a day trader or scalper and you bought right there, you don't care about this bull flag pattern. But from the big picture point of view, you do still have this overall bullish pattern in play. So if you like this price range, you like bull flag patterns, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, OPTT, and same general idea here. Yeah, today, unfortunately, it did pull back quite a bit from these highs throughout the course of the day, and you kind of have this little wedge that is formed. But, from the bigger picture point of view, I could draw this up, and you'd have a bull pennant pattern. So it's all about what your vantage point and kind of what your game plan going in was. But assuming that you're not in and you're just still watching, well, then an area of resistance that I would certainly keep an eye on would be that trend line right there. There are no guarantees, but is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price comes up to this trend line and breaks up through it, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible thought process to have on your end. And then as far as pullbacks are concerned, if you want to look for a deeper pullback, I would definitely say a pretty interesting level is down here at this congestion point, with the purple line being the 50 period moving average, pink line being the 200 period moving average, and they're basically on top of one another. Still doesn't mean that it'll for sure bounce, but again, that is certainly reasonable to think that if you were to, buy on this pullback around those moving averages, that you could get some sort of bounce. But as always, risk management matters. So if it doesn't bounce, well then, yeah, you gotta deploy the risk management. But all things considered, good movement today, good solid volume. So we'll see if this thing can either curl itself back upwards or if it needs to pull back a bit more. Next one, NVDA, and overall, good solid day. Now, once more, we have perspective. I understand if you're a day trader and you bought opening 30 minutes right there, then yeah, today was not a good day for you. But if you watched yesterday's video, then you know that the key level here going into today was that 121.40 mark, because that would represent progress. As long as the price stays above that line, so let's say it came down here and just hovered around before curling back upwards, what would you have? Well, you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have these lows down here, and if you envision those as stair steps, you'd still have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. And that's what you want to see. From a bigger picture, you just want to see progress being made forward. And on that note, not only did the price not go down and test that level or stay above that level, it didn't even go down in there and test it. So that's strong in and of itself. Now, it is trying to bounce back upwards right now. Key level in the very near term from a resistance standpoint, going to be that pink line there, 200 period moving average right now valid at, let's just call it 125.50. And then if the price can push up through there, next key overarching level, going to be right up there around, give or take, the 128 mark. But like I said, big picture wise, I would call it today a good success as progress is still in motion because the price was able to stay above that 127.40 mark. Next, WENA, and let's just start off with the key level of support on this one, which has become that purple line there. 50 period moving average. Just going through the history, you can see bounced off it, bounced off it, bounced off it. So again, to reiterate, and I'll probably say it a dozen more times, if the price pulls back, does that mean that for sure guaranteed it'll bounce off that purple line again? Of course not. No guarantees. But could somebody accuse you of behaving irrationally, behaving without reason? No. I mean, they would say, okay, I see your reasoning. That makes sense. It doesn't mean it'll work out, but by no means would that be some sort of just random choice. So if you like to play pullbacks, then I definitely keep an eye on that purple line there, 50 period moving average. In terms of areas of resistance, I think the key level here to keep a close eye on is going to be right up there at the 402 mark, and a good solid high volume break of 402. Of course, isn't for sure, but I think it makes it very reasonable to think that the price can make another push up to that 200 period moving average. But again, it can't be just some sort of boring low volume break of 402. It'd have to have some good solid strength and momentum behind it via high volume. Real quick, I want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use to get signed up. Or if you're watching at my website itself, there's an area right there on the webpage you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one, AMZN, Amazon. Massive move today, very, very impressive. And now in the very near term, have ourselves a beautiful pattern. So this is not a great discovery on my part. This is not some sort of great skill. I assure you a lot of people have drawn this into play here. And I say that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So just keep it the same color, easier to see, resistance, support, huge explosion. So we have ourselves another bull flag pattern. So more than reasonable to think that if the price can curl back upwards, get up through that level, that could ignite another round of momentum and then push this uptrend even higher. But all things considered, if you like bull flag patterns, you like very well-known stocks, then I definitely keep an eye on Amazon. Next one here, NIO. Going to go through this very quickly because same general idea. Sure, it's not the same exact pattern, but same overall premises where, you have a well-defined trend line right there. You have, okay, to keep this a little bit more proportional, let me bring this in. There we go. Just because I can't help myself, this has got to be green for support. And then as far as a pattern is concerned, resistance, support, nice move there, golf hole down here. So this isn't quite a bull flag. This would be technically a bull pennant pattern, but same general idea. And wow, as I talk, you can see doing battle with it right now. So if it can break through there, then it just becomes a question of how much more momentum will be gained. So certainly an interesting scenario. So if you like bull pennants, you like stocks down below the $5 mark, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, OPTX. No doubt about it, this is a very ugly looking chart to think that at one point the price was all the way up here. And I mean, true story to think that there were some poor souls that bought right there. Hopefully they're using stop losses. And then from there, has gotten very ugly, but you longer time viewers know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly, where when everything looks like a total train wreck, everybody's waving the white flag, then that's where things can tend to turn around or at least get some sort of bounce. And it's approaching a very logical area where that could happen. And maybe you've already identified it, but yeah, right down here, notice once again that 50 period moving average and 200 period moving average essentially at the same value right there at $3.10. So I want to reiterate, no guarantees, but certainly valid to think that the price could, bounce from there, and a very logical spot to put together a risk versus reward scenario. Of course, that assumes that you're going to be disciplined and honor stops. If you're not going to be disciplined and honor stops, well, I mean, you shouldn't even be trading, but that's a whole nother discussion. But you shouldn't definitely be trading situations like this where, yeah, it is ugly and it's risky in the sense of this thing keeps on, with the momentum downwards, you don't want to be stuck there holding the bag. So you got to be disciplined with risk in this situation. But it's one of those scenarios where if it does come down there and get a bounce, then you could be looking at a very good upside reward compared to what was being risked in the first place. Next one, TSLA Tesla, absolutely monster move on this one. And not just necessarily because it was green, but from a technical standpoint, mapped out these areas of resistance in yesterday's video. And you can see that actually the opening 30 minutes, it broke through both of those levels. So yeah, needless to say, very, very impressive move today here for Tesla, and definitely some updates need to be mapped out. So one of the newest areas of support and what I would call the ideal level, meaning, hey Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest going forward? That would be if the price can stay above the 193 mark. With that being said, if the price falls below there, does not mean the entire chart's destroyed or ruined or anything like that. But from the overarching standpoint, that's where you're going to want to watch that purple line there, 50 period moving average. Keyword being moving, because I get it. Right now, this line is completely irrelevant given its way down here. But that line will move itself higher and higher and get more and more relevant. So from an overarching standpoint, as long as the price does stay above that purple line, then the bulls are in full control. In terms of areas of resistance, got to squeeze things down, which I realize things are getting harder to see here, but that's a good problem to have. Oh, wow. All right, let's change to the 4-hour time frame, meaning each one of these represents 4 hours. Wow, I didn't realize we would have to go back this far in the chart's history. Next key battleground right up there at 199. You can see that is coming from this high right there, and that's coming from all the way back there in late April. So been a whole long time since the price has been up this high, but overall, nice recovery, big momentum today. Let's see if that carries into Thursday. Next, TQQQ. Not a whole lot to report here. I would say today was a good, solid, healthy movement, just based on the fact of, like I talked about with NVIDIA, it's showing signs of progress. It maintained above 72.75. So as long as that's the case and it can stay above there, that would be one stair step. The previous stair step is right there. And the correlation here, the relationship is these stair steps are going in the upwards direction. And that's what bullish progress is all about. Now, in the very near term, you can see that purple line there did a fantastic job of holding that support. Bounce, 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 bounce. So that would be the ideal level in terms of what would make the chart look the strongest and the healthiest. But the much more important level, again, for the reasons discussed already, would be the 72.75 mark. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, still have 75.50 down there as a key level to keep an eye on. In fact, I'm going to map this out just because I would definitely say it's carrying a little bit more significance. But right here in the very near term, right there at the 74.70 mark, you can see, broadly speaking, this was a problem point right here. And as of right now, still being a problem point. So in the very near term, 74.70 followed by 75.50. But like I said, big picture wise, good healthy day because it's still putting in that sign of progress. I will get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders, again, I want to invite you, if you like what you saw here, then definitely go get signed up for the free live webinar. It'll be very soon, Thursday, June 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's a genuine live event, so bring your questions and I will happily answer them live for you. So go and get signed up. Now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification, I am now back on that 4-hour time frame. I went to there for Tesla because we had to go back further. So now that just means each one of these represents 4 hours of time. And given Bitcoin is open 24/7, and in order for the video to remain relevant for as long as possible, I want to do the 4-hour time frame. But so far, so good. The bounce is intact. And that's where, once again, same as yesterday, let's just focus on, and in my opinion, what needs to be focused on is 60,200. So whether you're watching this video an hour, 15 hours, 20 hours after I upload it, question number one needs to be, where's the price at currently when you're watching this for Bitcoin? As long as you're answering the question that the price is up above 60,200, then that means that this bounce still has progress being made, right? Because anywhere around this area, if the price is at least maintaining above it, that would still give you that set of lows right there. You'd have that lows. You envision those as stair steps, and you'd still have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So very, very important to keep an eye on that level. Now, if you're answering the question that the price is down below 60,200, at that point, okay, well, where's the price at relative to 57,200? If somehow you're answering the question that the price is down below there, that's just flat out telling you the bears are back and Bitcoin is continuing to remain in this overall downtrend. Now, what would be the best case scenario would be, yeah, the price is above there. And then what about right there? If you're answering the question that the price is also above the 50 period moving average, that would tell you that not only has this little miniature bull flag pattern broken out, but it's broken out in a very strong way that's also put it above this overall trend indicator right there. So all things considered, Bitcoin, it's had a good past 24 hours. And as long as it stays above 60,200, in my opinion at least, that's going to be the most important thing. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader because what you're learning about in this class can and definitely should be used within your trading also. So go get signed up. It'll be soon, Thursday, June 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And like I was just saying, it is a truly live event. So bring your questions and I'd be happy to answer them for you. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, hit that like button, leave a comment below. Again, if you have a request, by all means, leave that down below. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what your watch list is for tomorrow. So thanks for watching. Go get signed up for that free class.